Hey guys, it's Guy389 here, and I'm just, recording another video, stuff like that. Nothing particularly interesting has happened since last time. It's been, Christmas vacation. Haven't been making any videos. Haven't been doing much in the way of video games at all, actually. Which is unusual for me on Christmas, because usually I just sit down and play Call of Duty all Christmas, pawning Christmas noobs. However, since I didn't actually get into Call of Duty that much this year, I haven't done so. So you may be wondering, why am I running around naked in this game? Only partially naked. I've got something on. I don't know what it is. Basically I just took off all of my armor so that I could run. Just stare at the right portion of my character's body and you should be fine. You may have noticed my character's blue hair. This is supposed to be a Marth-based build. For those of you who know of Fire Emblem, you know who Marth is. If you do not know of Fire Emblem, however, you do not know who Marth is. Unless you played Smash Brothers, then you know who Marth is. Sort of. And while we're on topic of Marth, I'm not going to talk all that much about the gameplay here. It's basically just me doing more or less my normal run through the game in the beginning, heading straight down to the blacksmith and upgrading my weapon, and then going off to fight the Taurus demon, and then moving on from there. I'm also basically skipping the gargoyle boss, primarily because I want to go pick up the plus 10, or the large ember, or whatever it's called. Either way, I'm failing a little bit, so get off of the topic of the video game for a second. Fire Emblem will be coming out later this year. Now that it is 2013, some people thought this day would never come. However, it did. And as such, Fire Emblem is going to come out, which is good for me, because I like Fire Emblem a lot. It is probably one of my favorite video game series. Notice here the jump attack before the plunge attack. If you just do a jump attack off of that ledge, you'll automatically plunge attack when you hit him. And then you'll get an extra piece of damage on him. Nonetheless, Fire Emblem's coming out. One of my favorite series. I'm highly anticipating it, even though I have been paying a little bit too much attention to the Japanese release. And as such, I kind of know the plot of the game, as well as a lot of the major spoilers. But I play Fire Emblem mainly for the characterization, which I have not paid all too much attention to. I have not read any of the marriage dialogues, any of the support dialogues, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be looking forward to discovering those. And if I can find out a way to, I will record it. And I will put it on the internet so you guys can see me fail at Fire Emblem. Just switched to the sound around because I felt the music was a little bit too obnoxious for me. However, I don't think that will come through in the actual recording. I think it'll be just fine. So right about now, I just decide, I'm not going to level up. I'm just going to save my XP, or my souls, or whatever it's called, and just head out. But before I did that, I decided to reverse hollowing because I looked kind of ugly. And now I'm going to put some clothes on for you guys because I know you guys prefer my character to be wearing clothing. On some pants. Put on some gloves, too. That's better. So I haven't actually found any I haven't found out how exactly I want to dress Marth up, actually. I choose to, at least for the first portion here, to go get the mage garb and set that up. However, I'm fairly certain I'm going to change that, possibly to the dark or the black mage garb, or whatever it's called, the darker mage garb, if I can find it. Because that one in particular has a bit of a bluish purple hue to it, which is more in keeping with how Marth's character is dressed in Fire Emblem. And I'm just going to go off on a tear and just kill these guys for fun. I was just playing for fun and decided to turn on fraps. I have absolutely no plan here. As for the boxer character that I'm doing, I'll probably get back to him. Right now, I was just fooling around because I like to play Fire Emblem, but I don't or not Fire Emblem. I like to play Dark Souls, but the restrictions that I had, they were a little bit of pain for me. Oh, and this guy is he's a little bit of a snob. I have to say. That is the clothing that I'm thinking of using. By the way, or by the by. As you can see, it kind of looks like Marth's get-up in Fire Emblem. Probably going to use it with the leather gloves. This will most likely be a bit of a poiseless build. I'm not entirely sure whether I want to use the wolf ring or not, or whether I just want to run a poiseless build. I can run a poiseless build. It's just... it's not as easy. Because it's very easy to accidentally get hit by something, and when everything stuns you, it's very easy to get stun locked and just, die. Yeah, what is there to moan about being undead? I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little weird. I think I might have a slight cold still. Either that or my mouth is just dry. I don't remember. Let me get some water here. Ah, that's some good water. And right about now I realize I forgot to pick up the Nameless Soldier's Soul. And coming up down here, I'm gonna try and pick up the Dragon Crest shield, but then I realized that the Astora Straight Sword is the one that you can get a hold of, not the Dragon Crest shield, which was a little bit of a fail. I wanted to pick up that because Marth is known for being, sort of a dragon slayer, and his shield, the Shield of Seals or whatever it's called. Well, I don't know. I don't think it was actually resistant to dragons or anything, but he used a shield. Marth used a shield. One of the few Lord characters to actually use a shield. He also uses a rapier as well as a longsword. So aside from the magic longsword that he uses, the Falcon, or Falchion, or whatever it's called. Falchion. I don't know. I have no idea what it's called. I just call it the Falcon. Oop, got pulled by the dragon there. And using the invincibility frames. This isn't going... Oh, sorry, I forgot to talk for a second there, but this isn't going to be a Soul Level 1 build. I'm just playing it as Soul Level 1 for a while. I'm going to beat the first boss at Soul Level 1. Possibly the Capra Demon as well at Soul Level 1 without poise. That should be interesting. But, yeah, primarily what I'm doing is just, fooling around, just having fun. As for, what else has been going on? So how have you guys been? Have you guys done anything, exciting? I don't get a lot of comments on my videos. I feel like you guys don't watch them. I mean, that doesn't really bother me too much. If you guys don't watch all of my video, it's alright. I think I'm going to start putting little timer, or whatever it's called, links in the description like I did with my previous video, showing where you guys can go see the highlights of the video. Because apparently that worked last time. I noticed that at least a couple people had watched the gargoyle boss fight, which is nice. I appreciate people actually watching the video and not just looking at it and leaving. But I'm probably going to put some more indentations in from now on to... Oops, slid down there. I almost got taken out by the Dark Knight, or whatever it's called, Black Knight. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. Gonna see if you guys prefer that to the normal watch the whole video and find out what's going on setup. I'm also going to try to record more videos at once instead of just recording a few, or one video and then posting it, and then another video and then posting it, and then another video and then posting it. What I'm doing right now is I'm actually recording 2 videos on top of each other, and then I'm going to split them in half at the halfway marker. So I recorded for a full hour this time, and well, actually I might split it up into 20-minute pieces. We'll figure that out along the way, but I set it up at least so that I will split it at about 30 minutes. That way it does not last for an entire hour. I know some people, when they look at a video and they see 30 minutes and they're like, oh god, this is going to take forever. But, you know, 30 minutes isn't really that long. It's extremely short for a full video in Dark Souls. I might cut it down to 20 minutes though. Actually, I think I'm gonna try doing that. I will give you guys an audio cue when I'm about to end one video. But this first section here is not really anything particular to be worried about. I'm just doing my run. And I more or less succeeded in it. In body form, nonetheless, which was... or in, what's it called? Alive form, not dead form. Which was fairly lucky. And now I realize that I have to purchase Titanite shards. Completely forgot to buy them. You actually need, I believe it is 9 for the... Yeah, I think it's 9 for the +5 upgrade. Yeah, I'm just gonna go up and do a little fighting, stuff like that. But I'm gonna get back to Fire Emblem now. I said, you know, I'm looking forward to it and stuff, but I kind of want to know in the are there any of you guys that are interested in seeing a Fire Emblem playthrough? It might actually be a little bit difficult for me to get a Fire Emblem 3DS or DS playthrough because recording on the DS and 3DS is near impossible. I do not have the technology to plug it into my computer and record the video directly. So, chances are I will have to find myself a cheap camera, or a decent camera, depending on, you know, how much money I have at the time, and then parry the Baronic Knights. If you did not know you can do that, you can do that. You can parry these huge-ass knights. But back to Fire Emblem. If there is anyone if anyone at all, for that matter, if even one of you guys wants to see me do a Fire Emblem video, I will probably do it. That is basically how it is for me. I really, really love the series. I might, you know, instead of waiting for the 3DS game to come out, I might actually do a playthrough of Sacred Stones on a ROM emulator so that I can, just record directly off my PC. That way you guys can get like the full, like a full screen view of it. And it doesn't have to be like me attaching a small camera to my DS so you guys can watch it. So, what more is there to talk about? I actually really do not... I have not made a list of things to talk about. But I can also talk about a couple other games I've been thinking of. Do any of you guys know of Skies of Arcadia? Anyone? Anyone heard of Skies of Arcadia? No one? No one's heard of Skies of Arcadia? Well, I might actually do a playthrough of that because I also downloaded a ROM emulator for the GameCube. And I might do a little playthrough of Skies of Arcadia to show you guys that. Skies of Arcadia is my all-time favorite. My absolute all-time favorite game, or what's it called? RPG game. Possibly my favorite video game of all time. It's an extremely fun little RPG where you get to play as air pirates. Basically, pirates with flying ships in a world of flying islands. And the game is based mostly around discovery, so you can, once you get like your own ship and stuff, you can kind of explore freely. The game opens up almost completely around the halfway point, then you fully control where you want to go, what missions you want to take, or not what missions you want to take, but what side missions you want to take, where you want to go, what you want to do, stuff like that. You can also recruit crew members, and there's just a lot you can do in Skies of Arcadia. Even if I do a playthrough of it, I will never be able to do all of it. I spent literally like 100 to 200 hours in the game and had not found all of the hidden secrets. I mean, it's just a huge game. And even like the main story is a good 40 hours. So put another 60 on top of that if you want to explore and find everything and defeat all of the extra bosses that you unlock and things like that. Are there any other games I could talk about? Well, Dark Souls 2. I can talk about Dark Souls 2. There was a new interview recently, actually. I just recently read it. It came out, I believe, yesterday. I'm not entirely sure. But it was an interview with Myazaki and the new director who is replacing him. Basically, it was, a reassurance interview. That's what I got out of it. It was posted on Siliconera. I will put the link in the description below for those of you who want to see or read it yourself. But my take on it was, this is kind of by way of apology to those who were upset that Myazaki has been, taken off the field, basically. And that's not actually what happened. He's been put into an advisor role. But that is kind of... I guess that's kind of a way of taking him off the team without, firing him. Because, obviously they have no means by which to demote him. So by giving him a promotion out of a position of influence, they can kind of go about doing their thing. And they can put in their new director, and they can control more of how Dark Souls 2 unfolds than if Myazaki was at the helm. And what I did just now was I I was just trying to attract the attention of some of the enemies down here so that I can pick them off. It's not always easy to pick them off one at a time, so by attracting their attention like that, I can get some of them closer and deal with them. But, you know, back to the article. Dark Souls 2 will be, according to this article, will be bigger, but it will not be open world. And what they meant by that, from how I understand it, is that it's going to be like with Dark Souls 1, the game I'm playing right now, where the game is not, you know, just a huge open, massive world that you can explore, but rather it's a, I guess, sort of a labyrinth of different areas that you can explore individually. Oh, and that right there was pretty darn awesome. That one zombie guy was sneaking up on me, and the other guy closed the gate on him. That was not planned at all. But anyways, I'll try to focus on the article now. So the article says that the game will be of a similar length in terms of the time it takes to beat, but it will be slightly larger, but it will be, or that it might be slightly larger, but not, it will not take longer to beat. And what that means is most likely there's going to be more like extra areas that you can explore, but not, you know, necessary for completing the main story. How much more, I'm not sure. Most likely not a lot, though, because another thing this article states is that they are focusing on upgrading the graphics engine. And that in itself may not sound like a bad thing. I guess some of you guys might look at this and say, this game looks like crap, but, you know, I mean, the game looks fine. I don't think graphics are the main issue, but what it means is that they will be focusing on... That guy just fell down. They will be focusing on increasing the graphics, and that means that they will also be taking that time that they use on upgrading the graphics away from other aspects of the game. And you know, that's always how I view things when I look at a game, is that if they are putting a focus somewhere, or if they're focusing on one thing, it means that they most likely are detracting from something else. And what exactly they are detracting from, I'm not sure. In this case, they might actually just be trying to upgrade everything in general. But it does mean that the money that they are adding to the budget is not being divided equally amongst all of the different aspects of the game, but it's being divided in such a way that it is focused on the graphics. I'm not saying 100% that they are focusing only on the graphics. I'm pretty sure they know not to do that. But that is what the new producer said in the interview, is that he wants to first and foremost start with upgrading the graphics engine and improving the visual experience and making it more, how should I put it, more realistic, is what he said. And, you know, I don't mind. Go ahead and do that. If that's what he thinks is most important, then, you know, I'll give him I'll give him that. I'll let him do that. It's not like I can decide what he does, but personally, for me, what's important in Dark Souls is actually the fact that you can kind of do more or less what you want in this game. The fact that I can, as you saw in the beginning of this video, just take off and head in the completely wrong direction and sneak my way into an area I shouldn't be in to upgrade my weapon in the beginning of the game. I mean, that's kind of important to me. I think it's a fundamental feature of Dark Souls the non-linearity of it. And of course, the role-playing aspect. There were some previous articles that were posted about Dark Souls 2, and some of those articles, they had some questionable is probably the best words, questionable propositions that they made. Things like using the term "a new hero" instead of new heroes, for instance. Obviously, that does not mean that there's going to be a static hero. I thought that it might mean that, but then I looked through it again and I thought, well, it's, you know, it could be anything. But there is a possibility that we might have a hero character, and you know, that would also fundamentally change the game. And it's something that the new director may or may not be aware of, because the very fact that there is no true player character means that you yourself can make your player character, and you can do more or less whatever you want with him. You can be an asshole if you want. You can be, you know, a goody two shoes. You can be Marth from Fire Emblem, which is what I'm doing right now. Just running around with a sword. I equipped a shield now because I actually don't really know why I equipped the shield. I think it was mainly because the grass shield gives you stamina regeneration, because for the most part I don't use it. I have not been blocking much. I'm trying to wean myself off of that a little bit. But I still want to have the shield there for when it's necessary. But I kind of want to get more accustomed to dodging at the right times and parrying at the right times. And yeah, you're gonna see a bit of that in this episode. A bit of dodging, a bit of parrying, and a lot of failing. If you're wondering why I'm failing so much in this video, it's because I'm basically practicing. This is how I practice at this game. I just run through it and I get pummeled. I get shot with arrows. I get poisoned. I get hacked, slashed, burnt, crushed. And it's all good. At the end of the day, that is kind of the point of the game. And that is actually another thing about Dark Souls, is that, you know, it's not, the difficulty of the game is very how should I put it? It's very adaptable. You can make this game really, really easy for yourself, or you can make it really, really hard for yourself. You can decide that you just want to go through the game like I was doing with, you know, the worst weapons in the game, basically, that have terrible range and, you know, light armor, and you can win the game. It is actually possible. I have seen people do some really, really incredible runs in this game. So, I mean, I'm just, you know, a little bit concerned that Dark Souls 2 might not be as, how should I put it, as flexible as Dark Souls 1 is. It might be more rigid. It might have a more fixed story. It might have a more fixed character. Those kind of things. But I will probably still get it. Probably still play it. But I'm about to wrap this video up. I'm just gonna make my way up to the bonfire, and then we will be skipping on to the next portion, which I'll probably record in one sitting. Yeah, I'm gonna sit here for an hour in my room, talking, driving my parents crazy. I live at my parents' house at the moment. I know I'm a little old for that, Well, actually, you might not know I'm a little old for that, but I'm 24. I shouldn't be living with my parents. But it's not for lack of trying. It's because I had to move out of my old apartment for reasons I will not discuss. And I will be moving into a new apartment shortly. So I'll see you guys in the next episode.